Can I get every achievement in Hotline Miami? In this video, I'll be attempting to get every single achievement in Hotline Miami whilst also 100%ing the game. Hotline Miami is a top-down shooter game that came out in 2012 developed by Denton Games. The game is set in 1989 in Miami, and you play as an unnamed silent protagonist who is going after the Russian mafia. As you progress through the game, killing more and more of the mafia, you slowly lose your grip on reality, and this causes for some crazy visuals and other weird elements of the game. The gameplay in this game is very quick and aggressive, but you also have to be tactical due to the one-shot kill mechanic for both players and enemies. This means that the simplest of mistakes can mean that you have to go back to the beginning of the stage and have to clear all the enemies that you previously have. Alongside this, the music and the theme just adds to it all, and I really recommend playing this if you never have. So please sit back, relax and enjoy, and if you do enjoy this video, a like, subscribe or any comments on how I can potentially improve these types of videos would be very much appreciated. Alongside this, any recommendations for games going forward are also greatly appreciated. So enjoy. The first few stages of Hotline Miami start off quite nice and easy, with only a few enemies per area. These enemies will also be spaced out quite nicely and not have any crazy weaponry, making it quite easy to get around killing each of them. At the end of each of these stages, you'll get given a grade based on how you've done. This grade is based off of the score that you've managed to get in this stage. You're able to increase that score by getting a different variation of kills, being more aggressive, and the key one is getting a higher combo score. To get the combo, you just have to kill enemies quickly one after another. This becomes a key part of the game, and it just encourages quick, aggressive gameplay. After managing to get your first 4 times combo, you'll get the achievement Combo Beginner. As you progressively play through the game, you'll find yourself getting quicker and better and getting the combos higher and higher. This then also means that you find yourself getting different variations of kills and different sort of tactics that you find to best clear areas. A good way of doing this is using doors and just knocking people into walls and then finishing them off with like sort of a ground and pound move. Once you've been able to do this to an enemy that is led against a wall after you've knocked them over, you'll get the achievement Playing Cool. When you eventually complete this game, you'll have to go back through and get A+ in every single one of these stages to unlock one of the last, most difficult achievements. When you're playing through the main story though, this isn't something you're really too concerned with, as you're just trying to learn the game and just sort of work out how to beat it really. Although this being the case, you will find yourself picking up some A+, and when you do this for the first time, you'll get the achievement Aced It. Another mechanic that you'll find useful in this game is using a human shield. To do this, you just have to knock down an enemy and then go over to them and press the button and you'll put them into a human shield position. This then protects you from any gunfire that comes from the direction of the shield. Alongside this, whilst you have the gun, you can still shoot back, which means that you're basically invincible for a few seconds. In a game where it's one-shot kill, this can be very, very beneficial. Once you do this for the first time and get a kill, you'll get the achievement Nigel Lowry. As you can tell from this point in the video, this game involves a lot of trial and error. This means you'll be killing enemies over and over again until you can finally reach the end of the stage. Sometimes these stages could take up to like 15-20 attempts just to get through the first part of it, so you're killing over and over and over again. With this being the case, your kill tally will go up very quickly, meaning that once you get to 1,989 kills, you'll get the achievement 1989. Alongside the amount of kills you get because of this trial of error, it also means that you're going to pick up a lot of deaths. The benefit here is that the respawn time is mere seconds, so you might get annoyed, but you're not really sat there looking at a loading screen. And like with the previous achievement, there's also an achievement linked to this. So once you reach that incredible milestone of 1,000 deaths, you will unlock the achievement Karma. Throughout the game, you'll discover various different types of enemies that all require slightly different ways to beat them. The main enemy type in this game are mobsters. Most of them don't have guns, but you will find progressively as you get into the game that more and more of them will have guns, making it harder as you can't keep your distance because they will just shoot you. Alongside this, you'll find thugs who can only take damage from weapons, and then other special types of thugs that can only take damage from guns and will take multiple shots to take down. The other special enemy that is more common in this game than the others are dogs. These are much quicker and will just come out of nowhere if you're not paying attention, so you have to keep aware of them at all times. After you manage to kill 99 of these types of enemies, you'll get the achievement Dog Lover. Combos, as mentioned previously, are a massive part of this game and are really important if you want to try and get the A+ score at the end of each of these stages. The main issue of trying to get combos I found were the controls are not exactly the most user friendly, so once you can get your head around those, you can really start pushing those combos and getting a higher and higher score. There was also 3 more achievements I hadn't quite got linked to combos. The first of these was Combo Intermediate, which is for getting a combo of ×6. Combo Pro for getting ×8 combo, and Combo King for getting 12 times combo. In total, there are 20 chapters in this game, and they are broken down slightly. The first actual chapter in this game is a prelude and sort of acts as a tutorial into this game, and then you'll enter chapter 1 through 15, which you play as the main protagonist. There are then 4 more chapters after this, where you play as a different character that act as sort of extra levels to be able to play. Once you finish the prelude through to chapter 16, you'll unlock the achievement The End for completing the main story of the game. This is basically what follows the character The Jacket. After completing the main story, as mentioned, there becomes available a few extra stages. In these extra stages is the epilogue, and this sort of gives a rundown of the overall story and gives it a proper ending. I'm not going to spoil anything just in case anyone wants to play it, but it's a cool little ending, and I would recommend doing it as a little add-on. Once you've done this, you'll then get the achievement That's It. Now that I'd finished the main story, it was time to go back and get A+ in every single one of these levels. When you get an A+ in some of these stages, you'll unlock a collectible, which can be either weapons that you can use in the stages or masks. These masks have different sort of perks and abilities that can make it either harder or easier to complete some of these stages. After a while, I finally unlocked every single one of the weapons and got the achievement I Got New Friends. It was now time to get some of the combat related achievements. These were some of the more difficult ones because they're quite fiddly and you have to rely on certain scenarios playing out so you can get sort of deflections and people lining up perfectly. The first of these was Domino Effect. This is probably one of the easier out of the bunch, as all it requires you to do is throw a weapon at an enemy and then it bounces off of them and then hits another. The best way to do this is just find a couple of enemies grouped together, throw in the weapon and it should bounce and hit them and knock them out. Next is Pitcher. To get this one you have to use all throwing weapons at least once. There are quite a few different weapons in this game, so to get this achievement it can be a little bit difficult, but I'm pretty sure, having played through the game, you should probably have got most of them already. Annoyingly, you can actually see which ones you've already got, so it's just a bit of trial and effort. Once you finally use all of the different throwing weapons, you will unlock the achievement. On some of the stages there'll be major areas that are surrounded by windows and glass, which can open up different sort of opportunities to take out some enemies. Unfortunately, this means that they can also use the windows and glass to shoot back at you. Once you've destroyed 200 of these glass panes, you'll then get the achievement Let in Some Light. To finish each of the stages, you have to return to the car that you exited at the beginning of the stage. There is an achievement linked to this called Go to the Car, where you have to get into it 60 times. This sounds like this could take quite a while, and you can just sort of do the first stage and just complete it nice and quickly and get back in. But if you're going for the A+ on each of the stages, you'll soon find out that you will do that pretty easily just by doing that. This is because you'll find yourself redoing these stages over and over again, trying to improve your score until you can get to the A+ stage. And once you've done this 60 times, you'll then unlock the achievement. I finally got to the point where I was on my last stage to get the A+ ranking before getting A+ on every single one of the stages. After a lot of trial and error on certain stages, I finally got it and unlocked the achievement Get a Life. Some of the stages, as mentioned, can be really difficult, but due to the sort of repetitive trial and error aspect of this game, it is still very enjoyable, and I think if you just stick at it, you can eventually get it relatively easily. It just takes a little bit of time. Another collectible in this game are puzzle pieces. These are scattered throughout each of the stages and can be very difficult to see. They're scattered through the stages, usually in rooms that don't really have any reason to go in, such as there not being any enemies or weapons in at all. When you find them and interact with them, a letter will pop up and it will go into the puzzle section on the pause menu. From here, you can then go and solve the overall puzzle. After you've worked out the puzzle, from here, if you travel to the epilogue and enter this into the computer located in the room before you drop into the sewers, it will unlock a secret ending. Alongside giving you a new mask that you unlock, this secret ending will also give you the achievement This Is It. Unfortunately, my game was bugging out at this point, so alongside the This Is It achievement, I also got the achievement Eye for Details and the Boss, which are for collecting all of the puzzles and completing the puzzle. It was now time to get a few achievements that required you to complete certain stages in a certain way. The first of these was These Are My Guns. For this achievement, you have to beat Chapter 5 whilst only using your bare hands. This can be quite difficult due to the amount of enemies on this map with guns, but if you're able to close the distance, you can do it pretty easily. This is made even easier by using the mask that enables one-shot kill with your fists. With this equipped, you should soon be able to get this done. The next achievement was Batman. You may think whilst watching this gameplay that I was drunk whilst playing this, but unfortunately that is not the case. The Bat mask for some reason reverses all of your controls, which just makes the game a lot more difficult because the controls aren't great in the first place. Thankfully you only have to beat Chapter 2, which is definitely one of the easier ones, but with the reverse controls it can still be a bit tricky and take a little while. Once you fumble your way through this, you will get the achievement, and it does add a bit of good fun to it, because otherwise I don't know why you'd use this mask. The last of this set of achievements is Catfight. For this achievement, you have to beat the Panthers using Brandon the Panther mask. In one of the chapters, you'll find a boss fight where the first stage of it, you have to fight against 2 Panthers. The whole boss fight itself is actually quite tricky and requires you to be in certain areas and attack at certain times, but thankfully all you have to do is kill the Panthers, and it doesn't matter if you die from there because the achievement should pop then. The next 2 achievements were probably 2 of the most annoying ones in the entire game. These were 2 birds with 1 stone and plain luck. They're pretty much the same, but one of them requires you to kill 2 people with 1 brick, and the other requires you to kill 3 with 1 brick. The 2 people with 1 brick isn't actually too bad because I found a perfect lineup for it, but getting that third person just seems to take forever. As you can see, I managed to find 3 enemies that sort of circle in at very close proximity and just throw a brick into there, hoping it would get all 3 of them with 1 and I'd get both achievements. But for over and over again, I could only just get 2 at a time. Eventually, I managed to get the third and managed to unlock both of these achievements, but it was a pain. One of the most iconic things about this game are the masks, and these are obviously therefore collectibles. As mentioned earlier, these masks all have different abilities and perks that can either make the game easier or harder, as well as just looking really cool, I think. One of the more special masks you have to find is Jones the Crocodile, who's located in the sewers of one of the maps. Unlike the other ones that are just located around the sort of building that you're in, this one you actually have to do a little bit to get it out as well. I'm pretty sure the perk on this one just makes the game a lot more gory, so it just is a cool mask. After getting this, which was one of the last I had to get, and then the final few, you also get the achievement Zookeeper, which is for collecting every single mask in the game. Alongside collecting all of the masks, this then allows for you to get the achievement Guns for Show. This was down to the fact that the last gun that I had to use was linked to a mask that gives you a silenced Uzi. With this last mask, I was able to use it and unlocked both the achievements at the same time. Now that I had unlocked every single one of the masks, it was time to go for the achievement Sounds of Animals Fighting. This achievement is basically just to use every single one of the masks. The easiest way to do this is just get out of the car, pick a mask, reset it, pick a mask, reset it, pick a mask, and so on and so forth, and you'll eventually get it. If you can remember which ones you've used throughout the game, that does help, but it's generally easy enough just to do it with that, and it doesn't take too long. It was now time to finish off the game and get the final few achievements. The next one that I went after was Smells Something Burning. To get this achievement, you have to kill the mobster who sat on the toilet using a fire axe. The difficulty with this is the fact that you can't find the fire axe particularly easily, but it's located in one of the shelving units in the corridor. Once you've got this, kill the rest of the mobsters, go into the toilet, finish them off, and then you'll get the achievement. The penultimate achievement that I went for was Knife for Pros. This requires you to use every single melee weapon in the game. This again can be quite difficult because it doesn't track which weapons that you have, and there's no way of seeing which ones you still need to use and which ones you've already used. There is also quite a few melee weapons that can also randomly spawn, so there's a bit of RNG involved in this as well. On top of these random weapons, there's also a couple of specific weapons that can only be found in specific areas on certain chapters that you have to make sure to get as well. One of these is like a boiling water pot that you can use the water to throw on people and then use the pot itself, so you have to make sure you get both of them. After playing the game for a while, you'll eventually get around to using all of these, and then you'll get the achievement Knife for Pros. The final achievement is very similar to the achievement that I just got. Instead of just getting melee kills, it was now time to make sure that I'd completed every single ground attack. To do this, you just have to keep rotating through all of the different melee weapons and make sure that you knock someone down. The best way I found to do this was throw the weapon at them, pick it back up, and then use a ground attack on them. Again, unsurprisingly, there's no way to track which ones you've used, so it's just again trial and error. Eventually, after a while of grinding this, just making a mental note of which ones I've already used, I finally got it, which got me the achievement Always on Top, whilst also unlocking the final achievement of the game, Achievement Whore, for collecting every other achievement in the game. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it, and a like and subscribe would go a long way, and any comments on how I can improve these would be very much appreciated. So my thoughts on Hotline Miami. I really like this game. I think it's really good fun. I think the sort of repetitive gameplay I can understand might not be for some people, but the quick load-in times and spawns and the trial and error thing, I think it's really good fun, and the mechanics are great. The controls aren't great, as I mentioned, but I think once you get the hang of it, you can really start getting the combos together and getting some really good high scores. The achievements are good as well, because there's not really any grindy ones. The sort of use all the weapons ones are a bit annoying just because you can't track it, but again, it doesn't really take very long. I think in total this game took me 8 hours to get all the achievements in, so it's a good little bash to get through. As I mentioned, if you've got any games that you can suggest for me playing next, please let me know, as I'm always looking for new ones to go for. So I appreciate all the support, and thank you very much.